Alright class, so this video is on finding the equation through 2 points and finding the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. Your first step is, what you're going to do, I put step 0, we're going to find out why, is you're going to find the slope. Okay, with these 2 points they give you x1, y1, x2, y2. You have to find the slope between those 2 points. So that's the first step. Okay, and so just like this, we're using this equation, m equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Alright, and the steps after that are exactly the same when we were given a point and a slope. Okay, where the first step was to input m, which is our slope, which is what we found from step 1. And it said x1, y1, it turns out we're just going to use any point that'll make our lives a lot easier. Okay, we put those into slope or point slope form, which is this equation. Okay, and second step, again, you're going to use the distributive property on the right hand side, and the last step is convert to slope intercept form, which is y equal to mx plus b. Okay, so keep that in mind. It is these steps right over here. So first, find the slope, put m and any point into point slope form, use the distributive property on the right hand side, and convert to slope intercept form. You might want to write that down, so pause it, write it down on a separate sheet of paper while I go through these examples. Okay, so let's put that off to the side. So our first points are going to be 2, 3, so that's the first one. And second point is going to be -3 and -2. Okay, well, I'm going to use the formula to find slope, which is m equal to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is underneath these coordinates, I'm just going to put x1, y1, and so on. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Alright, so with those two things, we can simplify, we can input that into the formula. So x2 minus x1. x2, which is over here, which is -2, minus x1, which is 3. So I'm gonna have -2 minus 3. For the bottom denominator, we're gonna have x2 minus x1. x2 is -3, right? Just looking right at it. Minus, I look at what x1 is. Well, it's a +2, so +2. Okay, so over here, well, -2 minus 3, same sign, so you add them and keep the sign. So it's going to be -5, right? -5 because they have the same sign, and 5, we had to add those two things. Over here, -3 minus 2, well, same type of deal, they have the same sign. So you keep the sign and add them. Well, 2 plus 3, or 3 plus 2 is 5. Alright, well, we have something divided by the same thing, right? We have -5 divided by -5. Whenever you have that, it's a +1. Okay, so we have m equal to +1. That is our slope. All right, so I'm gonna write that right over here. M equal to +1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the slope. Now for step 2, I'm gonna pick one of these points. Okay, I can do either or, it would work. But keep in mind, do I wanna use a +2, +3? Or -3, -2. Well, I really dislike minus signs, so I am not going to use that point. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this point and this slope. So I'm gonna put m equal to +1. Okay, because what I do is that these are the important parts that I now input into the formula. So I'm gonna use y minus y1 equal to mx minus x1. Alright, so I'm gonna put that right in here. Now we have all this room to play with. So y minus y1 is a +3. So I'm gonna put 3 equal to m is +1, right over here, and x minus x1, we'll put parentheses first, x minus x1 which is positive 2. So I'll put plus 2 right in there. All right, so with this, if we look at the steps we had over here, all right, so far we've input m and a point into point slope form. Now what to do is distribute on the right hand side. So distribute. So we're gonna have y minus 3 equal to, well, 1 times x is just 1x, or I could just put x, right? And 1 times a negative 2, well, that's just a negative 2, so I'm gonna put minus 2. Well, now I have to, so I distributed, now I have to get y by itself. We have a negative 3, so you're going to add 3 to both sides. This goes away. So we're gonna have y equal to, x comes down, negative 2 plus 3, well, that's gonna be a plus 1. All right, so this is the equation in slope intercept form, where our slope is, well, you can imagine that there's a 1 over here, and our y-intercept is 1. Okay, so that's it. All right, with this, I'm gonna give you one more example. All right, so let's have 2 points, 0 and negative 5, and our second one is going to be 2, 3. Well, again, you want to put this in the formula for slope. So that is m equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and again, we can put these over here. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so with this, x2 minus, y2 minus y1, y2 is 3. And before I even look at what y1 is, I'm gonna put a minus sign. All right, now tell me what is y1? It's a negative 5. So I'm gonna put minus 5. I'm gonna put that in parentheses here. Okay, now x2 minus x1. x2 is, just kind of looking at here, is positive 2. Before I look at x1, I'll put a minus sign, and x1 is 0. Okay, so we can simplify this here. Minus minus, same sign, so you basically add. All right, so what is 3 plus 5? Well, it's 8. And 2 minus 0, well, if I take away nothing from 0, or nothing from 2, it's just 2. So 2 minus 0 is just 2. And 8 divided by 2, we can simplify that into positive 4. So we can say from these 2 points, these 2 coordinates, if I were to draw a line through that, the slope of that line would be m is positive 4. So positive 4, that's our slope. All right, but we're not done. We want to find the equation to this, both through these 2 points. So what I'm gonna do is, now I choose one of these points. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, which ones do I really want? Normally I would choose 2, 3, but I like to work with zeros here. Okay, when I have a 0, it makes my job a lot easier. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this one. I could have kept this one, but I'm gonna erase that. So this goes away. Let's erase this other stuff. So right now what we have is a point and a slope. So that slope being positive 4. So I'm gonna put m equal to 4. All right, so with these 2 things, these are the 2 tools that I need in order to put them into point slope form. So let's write point slope form again. Y minus y1 equal to m, parentheses, x minus x1. Okay, so let's substitute stuff into here. So y minus y1 is a negative 5. Okay, our slope was positive 4. And x minus, well, x1 is 0, right? That's why I chose that, because 0 helps me here. So what we do is we're gonna simplify here. So y minus a negative 5 minus minus is a plus, so put y plus 5 equal to, on the right hand side we use the distributive property. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times a negative 0, well, anything that times 0 is 0, and don't ever think of it as negative 0, so it's just 0. So I could put plus 0 over here, it's still nothing. So I'm not gonna write anything, okay, because 0, it has no power there. All right, so I'm not gonna write anything over here, but I do have to get y by itself. So we're adding 5, I'm going to subtract 5, subtract over here, and I'm gonna write it over here, right? because these two things aren't like terms. And we're gonna have y equal to 4x minus 5. All right, so our slope for this is 4, y-intercept is -5, and that's it for this video. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you ask me. But go to the practice problems section of my website to practice these type of problems. All right, bye, thank you. No!